ride.
This is your entertainment ticket. Latest and greatest movie reviews and interviews. This is your entertainment ticket. YEticket.com. Yeah.
Hey, this is Al McGee with your entertainment ticket at www.yeticket.com. The film I'm going to talk about right now is called Rosenwald. Rosenwald. This is a documentary about a man whose family migrated from Russia, and they were Jews. And they had to migrate because the Jews was being persecuted by the Russian government at the time. I mean, you talking about numbers of many Jews being killed by the Russians. They didn't count them because they didn't care. Anyway, Julius Rosenwald, he was, had his life here in the 19th century to the early 20th century. Now, as a young man, he was a tailor. That was the family business. You know, he moved to New York, St. Louis, then to Chicago. While in Chicago, he met Sears and Roebuck because Sears needed about 1,000 suits, and through his company, Rosenwald's company, he ordered them. Sears ordered the suits through Rosenwald's company, and he didn't pay him all at once. But then later on, Rosenwald came back and said, hey, you owe me some money, but let me help your company out. Then became part owner of Sears. In fact, he pushed Roebuck out. Well, not so much push him out. Roebuck said, well, I don't want no more part of the business. And at the time, they gave him about $1 million. And that was a lot of money at that time, too. And then Rosenwald got in. Then later on, Sears, he quit, too. He took some money. And Rosenwald became the owner of Sears. But in that time, Rosenwald was reading about the African Americans' plight here in the United States, how we were being lynched, persecuted, not able to get a good education. In fact, he was comparing the treatment of African Americans to the treatment of Jews there in Russia at the time. He said, well, you know what? I'm a Jewish guy. I'm a Jew. According to our religion, we got to help someone. So he decided to help African Americans. So he met Booker T. Washington. So together, they started to build 5,400 schools in the South for African Americans to attend. Because remember, the U.S. government and the states, especially the southern states, did not really build good schools for African Americans. Remember, it was separate but equal at that time. We, African Americans, could not attend schools with white people. Of course, they wouldn't let us do it. As a human, you can do anything you want. Remember that. So, through the help of Booker T. Washington and other African Americans at that time, they built these schools in the South, and he also bought books for these schools and other supplies, again, because the states didn't care about teaching African Americans to do the right thing or to learn. He also built YMCAs, too, for African Americans or blacks in 25 cities. In fact, I stayed in one in Chicago on the South Side when I was a young man. I was a student. I got laid off many jobs because at that time factories were closing down, losing business, and I really didn't have a lot of skills. I just separated from the Air Force. All they did, they taught me how to kill, and so I decided to go to school, but I didn't have no place to stay. But I stayed at a YMCA for a few months and really saved my life. And I stayed at one of those YMCAs that he helped build in Chicago. He also established scholarships for African American students too. And going back to the schools that he built in the South, the Ku Klux Klan didn't like them. They'll go and burn them down, say don't attend them. He'll rebuild those schools and put more money in those schools, even though the Ku Klux Klan even threatened him and also the neighboring African Americans. But he did rebuild them the second and third time. Now, this film is directed by Aviva Kempner. She did a great job on getting the research and information about Rosenwald. Now, his hometown was Springfield, Illinois, but like I said, he became a very, very, very wealthy businessman through Sears. Also, this film did teach me a lot about him, and just think, I'm in Chicago. I didn't know anything about this guy when I was growing up. You know, I didn't read any newspapers, articles about him, or anything like that. And I was just really surprised when I found out this information through this documentary about Rosenwald. And I'm really shocked that many other African Americans do not know about this man and what he really did for the schools in the South, and also what he did with the YMCAs in the major cities for African Americans. Rosenwald was a great man who did a lot of things with his money. You know, he wasn't those type to hang out with those other people that say, I'm not doing anything with no one and I hate blacks. You know, he didn't hang out with those type of people. He hung out with himself. And he also felt that African Americans and any human need to be uplifted to be a productive individual here in America. I really enjoyed this film. Another reason why I enjoyed this film, Rosenwald, was because he had a Rosenwald Fund, which supported really great artists in our American history. For example, Marian Anderson, Woody Guthrie, Langston Hughes, Gordon Parks, and Jacob Lawrence. And also in this film, too, you see a lot of good people being interviewed. For example, Julian Bond, just before he died. Ben Jealous, Congressman John Lewis, and columnist Eugene Robinson, and my good friend Clarence Page, whom I haven't seen in a while. Cokie Roberts, Rabbi Saperstein, and Maya Angelou. She went to a Rosenwald school, and also George C. Wolfe, and also a lot of Rosenwald relatives too had contributed to this documentary. It's very enlightening to me. I really enjoyed this. I'm going to give it 3 palm trees. Well, 3.5 palm trees. I'm giving it 3.5 for the educational value of it. Also for the historic value of this film. 3.5 palm trees for this film, Rosenwald. I think the director did a great job. And also, again, the narrators and the information was very important to me to learn. And it will be very important to you to watch this film and to learn and to find out more about an American who did great things with his money and how he helped not just African Americans, many other people too. I'm Al McGee. Thank you for watching Your Entertainment Ticket at www.yeticket.com.
We are your entertainment ticket, that's right. YEticket.com. We are your